Welcome to Full Point, the Cebu Sports Show. Our guest for this episode of this show is somebody who I have known for quite a long time, starting with his days in the Armed Forces of the Philippines as a pilot of the Philippine Air Force. But then later on, he developed into becoming an elite athlete. And that's why he is actually one of my idols in sports and of course in life. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to bring to you Captain Richel Sale of PMA Class 98, but now better known as Captain Marvelous because he is not just a pilot, but he is also an elite triathlete. Richel, mayang adlaw.
Mayang adlaw, sir. Actually, when I received your invitation, I was in Hong Kong, and I thought I had an offense. That's why I was prepared to do squat thrust and backfield crouch at Victoria Harbor. But anyway, sir, salamat for your invitation.
Yeah.
It's my privilege to be in your show.
Yeah, well, actually, I invited Richel here because I decided to focus on athletes who are not anymore very young.
Yes.
I'm not saying that he's already old, but because there are a lot of people who are already about your age, my age, who still love to do sports. And I think we should also focus on that age group.
Yes.
Right. So, Richel is a pilot. Okay. Can you tell us a little about yourself, Richel?
Well, I started my flying career at the Philippine Military Academy in when I graduated in 1998. After that, I was in the Air Force for 10 years, flying the C-130, the Nomad, and the SF-26. Then after 10 years, I joined the airline through Cebu Pacific because all my classmates, or almost all my classmates, was there already. Then, after Cebu Pacific, I was a captain in 2011. Then in 2019, I had my early retirement, and I am now with Philippines Air Asia.
Okay. So, well, Richel, more than being a pilot, you are also an elite athlete.
Yes.
I know that for a fact because, you know, a lot of people idolize you. We're friends on Facebook.
Yes, sir.
So I could see your races. And you're not just racing in the Philippines, but in different parts of the world.
Correct.
So how do you manage being a pilot who flies not only domestically, but international, has international flights, and how you train as an athlete? How do you do that?
Well, first, sir, my first sport really is fencing. I thought 26 years ago, that was really the peak of my sports career. But when I was in the airline, I was looking for a sport where I can train alone. Because, you know, we have lots of layover in for me, I flew Southeast Asian cities, so I tried to find a sport na pwede kong makatrain
Without having to look for somebody else to
Yes,
train with
correct.
you. Unlike in
Yes.
fencing, you need an opponent.
yeah, you need an opponent and you need a fencing hall. So first, I started running. So 2009. Then after that, in 2011, I had my first full marathon. So, ingon ko nga, I think I will do triathlon na. So that was the start. Pero na-stop sa to for a month, for a year, because some of my co-worker in Cebu Pacific do scuba diving. So human sa to namong new open water, advanced scuba diving until rescue divers. So after that, I started to do triathlon. So before, my goal is just to participate because as I said, sir, na murag human ako sa my peak in sports was kwan. But after how many races, 2 or 3, inko, uy, I started winning. So pwede pa di ay. So because of that, I hired a coach. I hired coaches here in Cebu. And then after that, so I think my peak was really from 2015 to 2019, just before the pandemic. We race anywhere around here domestically and anywhere around the world.
Around the world. Okay. You know, in PMA, if you don't have any talent in sports, they say, oh,
Correct.
you go to marathon.
Yes, yes. That's
right?
what I have to tell you, sir. Because in PMA, if you don't have any talent, you run.
Yeah.
Because ako gyapon nang madungog, sir, sa work,
Yeah.
pag wala kang talent, diretso ka sa marathon.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a tradition in the academy. Even before, that was it. Up to now, they say if you don't have a talent, you go to marathon. But then you took it a step higher. Pero how do you manage? Like, for example, how many days is your layover? And then how do you, like, flying? I know you're just sitting in the cockpit, but then it is also a very stressful job.
Correct.
Right? So how do you manage? I mean, different time zones also, if you move from one place to another. So how do you do it?
First, sir, it depends upon your goal, because if you are doing triathlon competitively, you should have 5 or 6 days, 6 days a week of training. But for my side, I cannot do a structured training, just like for a normal triathlete. You do long run on a weekend, long bike on a weekend, or long swim on a weekend. I cannot do that, sir, because I have different flight schedules. So what I did is that I will wait for the next month na schedule. Then I will have to pattern or to put my training sessions based on my schedule. For example, I will have layover in Incheon. So it's automatic for me that I will do long runs there, because they have a very good trail run.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I will do 28-kilometer run or 27-kilometer run. In Narita, we have a 3-day layover. This is before at my previous airline. So first, I do strengthening on the first day. Second day in Narita, we don't have a swimming pool. So I want to ako laing
City.
hotel,
hotel.
just to swim. I have to pay 1,600 pesos just to
swim.
I have long runs. There are lots of ang trail course pa sa Narita is there's so many snakes. So
okay.
but I have to do it because my mind is focused on what I will achieve. In Shanghai, it's automatic. I do swimming. In Beijing, normally strengthening and also long runs. So,
Nagmantinir lang like kag international nga training.
but normally, sir, when I go, kung na ako dere, I do long bikes because we have some biking communities here. So it's okay because I have to plan to train outside so that when I came back, I have time for my family also.
Okay. So, believe na gyud ko sa imong juggling ba? I mean, you're juggling your profession with your sports training and with being a father, no, and a family man. So, mo nang nakaingon ko. That's why I said this guy is one of my idols. Very soft-spoken, very humble despite all of his achievements ba. Richel, you know, it has been a very interesting first segment. First segment. We still have 2 more segments of this interview. No, so next we talk about what you do to prepare for training and what you eat, how many kilometers you run. But that will come next when we return to Full Point, the Cebu Sports Show. Welcome back to Full Point, the Cebu Sports Show. I'm Nimrod Quiñones, and still with me is Captain Marvelous Richel Sale. Chel, earlier we talked about how you go about training when you are on layover
Yes.
in different parts of the world, not just the Philippines. So now, I mean, we talk about, I mean, a lot of people would like to do sports, maybe running. There was a recent Cebu marathon, and there were a lot of runners. There's a lot of people who I know who bike a lot, and there are also many triathletes from among my friends. Me, I'm still a triathlete. So, what does it take to train for a triathlon? Like, for example, how long do you usually run? A short run. What is a short run for you?
For example, sir, I apologize that I will call Sir Nimrod always sir because we came from we came from the same organization, we came from the same school in Baguio. We have a tradition in which I cannot do away na. It is a lifetime.
It's because of age. Yeah.
So, kung triathlon, sir, it depends upon the distance.
Sprint or
there is a Olympic distance.
Olympic distance, yeah.
There is an Ironman 70.3 in which there is a Cebu.
Yeah.
And there is also
The
Ironman.
full Ironman,
which
yeah.
is times 2 sa 70.3. So, if you are doing full Ironman, you should have at least 6 months to train.
Have you done this, the full
Yes,
Ironman?
yes, I
How
have
many
done
times?
Twice. I
Okay.
have done Ironman 70.3, I think 14 times.
14 times. And the full Ironman, this is the one in
Twice.
Kona? Or
There is a Kona, but
Yeah.
I have done it here and one in the US.
Okay.
Yes,
So for example, sige, let's just talk about, let's set our goals
Yeah,
a bit low for those murag kuan lang ba, beginner who'd like to do triathlon.
Yeah, regardless of the distance, you should have a base training. So base training, it means that you take it slow first, because if you do interval or speed training, you might get injured.
Yeah. Or
That's why I remember this, sir. I saw your episode kang Dr. Dehanyo.
Yes, that's right.
He was my doctor. He said, naka-remember din ko yung siya nga, kanang, kung kuan daw, you cannot control the athlete. Hingon siya nga, kung bisag, kung ano nimo nga, unsa ni, dili nimo paduwaon,
mo pugos gud.
mo duwa man. And I was guilty of that. Hingon I have a race in the US, in Miami, and in Pensacola at that time. He said, I don't want you to race, pero kabalo ko mo race man ka, so tagaan na lang tika.
Murag, daghan yun ang guilty, ana.
Guilty,
Tingnan
sir,
nga, di pa pwede, pero pwede na ni, murag makaya na. Well,
Anyway, sir, so
yeah.
you should have a base training, so at least a month. Then after that, build a phase. You will introduce speed works at least once a week. Then after that, the peak. Then one of the most important also is the taper.
Okay.
So because many triathletes disregard the taper section. But,
this is before the race.
This is
Mo taper sa ka.
Yes.
But it's different also that after the race, you have what you call as a murag cool down nimo after the race. Nga, you do another run or do another race, but much relaxed pace.
Yes, correct.
So, unsa may purpose ana kay ang ordinary folk would not really understand it. Kakapoy ni apil na kag triathlon, then afterwards mudagan na sad kag 5K, 10K.
Because it is an endurance sport, then the lactic acid will murag mo kuan sa imong mga muscle.
Murag mo accumulate.
So in order to para mawala, you have to walk another, just like in Chicago marathons, or one of the major marathons in the world. After we finish 42 kilometer, there is no, you have to walk another 1 kilometer para maka-adto ka sa exit. They will not allow us to
stop right away. Okay. So there's science behind it. There's science behind it.
Correct.
So dili na nga giingon gilisod-lisod ang racers,
Correct.
no? ingnon nga nganong mo ram ni gipakaon. Of course, that's another story. Dili ta na ikuan because you know, ang kaning kong mga runs, I used to run actually when I was much younger. Of course, in the academy, we were forced to run, whether we like it or not.
But when we were plebes, sir, kung puro combatives.
Yeah, and sometimes when you run, naka-combat boots with your rifle. So, mana siya, I mean, running is actually, it looks like a very simple sport. Di ba?
Yes.
All you have to do is have shoes, ang uban gani, mag-barefoot running, and then know how to run, have a trail, go to the road, pwede ka magdagan-dagan, but it's actually more than that.
Yes.
As you said it, Rich,
Yes,
no?
yes.
Murag yung kuha na siya kanang,
There is science in it.
there's science, you have to know what to do to be able to attain your potential as an athlete.
That's why, sir, you should have at least a goal so that all your training sessions leads to your goal.
Okay, like for example, I'd like to start running and sige, I'd like to do a 10K race. Okay, the 10K race is like maybe karon January, let's say it's 3 months from now.
Yeah.
Is that enough preparation for a 10K race for a beginner?
More than enough, but you should do it consistently. The secret there is not the intensity but the consistency. So on the first month, you should have base training. You should go slow. Maybe
So mga pila may distance daganon ako on the first month. If I'd like to do 10K in 3 months.
At least it depends upon your present na fitness, sir. Kung ikaw, if you can run 5K, so you start with 5K. Then on the next week, you start with 6K. It depends upon really on your fitness, but you should not run more than 1% per week. So that to prevent some injuries.
What do you mean you should not run more than 1% or per week?
More than 10%.
More than 10% per week.
Yes,
Ang imuhang murag increment sa increase.
Yes.
Okay.
But you should go slow. You should go slow first.
You should go slow. Okay. So forget your, like, for example, some people magud, I was once an athlete and you know, at the age of 40, 45, 50, I'd like to go back. I think I can do the same intensity. First thing tingali that we have to do is to accept the fact that you have aged.
Correct.
Diba?
Yes,
Rich, if I may ask you, how old are you now?
I'm already 48.
48. And you're still doing all of these things, right?
Yes.
At a very high level. So, can you name some of the biggest events that you have joined? I do understand that you have swum in the Escape from Alcatraz. There was a movie in the 1970s. For those around my age, you probably remember that. This guy swam the same route that the actor in that movie swam.
Yes,
right? So
I think the two full Ironman and of course the Escape from Alcatraz triathlon because that was an extreme triathlon. So before you can join Escape from Alcatraz, there is a kuan pa parang draw. But then if you will be drawn sa lottery, you will be invited. You are not automatic registered. Then you have to have so many waiver because the
difficulty.
Yeah, because the danger during when you.
I understand the swim is probably the most challenging part of that extreme triathlon.
Yeah.
So how long is the swim for that event?
Normally, if you go straight, it's a 2.8 kilometer lang. But because of the current, they will let you swim on the other side of the San Francisco Bay before going to the end. So it will be about 3.4 to 3.6 kilometers.
Plus the very cold weather.
Plus the very cold weather.
So how
when we swam mga -9 to -13.
Okay. So how did you do it? How did you do it? Kuan lang ka ang imuhang
they have a rule that a 5 millimeter kuan, then we have to put ice here para dili ma-shock daw.
Okay.
They have kuan, but there's no buoy, there's no because first when I go to San Francisco, ang hadlok ginako ato sir is ang bugnaw.
Oh.
But when we jump sa sa Alcatraz, so ang the danger really there is the current. Yeah. Because if you will not follow the route, because for example, this is the end. You should swim here before going there. Because if you will not follow, you will go to the Pacific Ocean.
Okay.
So I forgot the cold, I forgot the 13 degrees squad because
but you were more worried about the Pacific Ocean.
Yes.
Okay, Rich. Well, lingaw gini siya istoryahon. I know that for a fact because every time we see each other when we talk, Richel always has very nice stories to tell. So, we will have more of Captain Richel Sale when we return for the last segment of this episode of Full Point, the Cebu Sports Show. Welcome back to Full Point, the Cebu Sports Show. I'm Nimrod Quiñones, and still with me is Captain Richel Sale, triathlete par excellence. He's been around the world, all over the world, to do races, to run, to bike, to swim. But then, you know, one of the basic foundations probably for sports for him is his college days at the Philippine Military Academy. So, Richel, you mentioned earlier, no, that at the PMA, you were in the fencing core squad. We call the varsity team there a core squad.
Yeah, I was the in charge of the
cadet in charge.
Yeah, of the whole fencing core squad. Actually, sir, that was accidental also when I indulged into fencing because that was the time when we were at the Beast Barracks. I was the squad leader. Then my plebe was maltreated by my yearling. You know, yearling is the second year. So, in short, my two yearling buddies were discharged because they were caught maltreating the plebe. And me, being the squad leader, I was meted the maximum class 2 offense. The 180 touring hours and 180 demerits. One touring hour and one demerits already. I will have the maximum punishment in PMA. So in short, I have to find a way na ma-mitigate ang 180 touring hours. So they have a scheme there na if you go to a combative sports like fencing, there is a corresponding hour para maubos ang kuan. So that was the time also that a Philippine team coach was there. So I went to fencing.
Was this the sergeant? I think there was a sergeant there who was a Philippine team.
It was a major, sir.
Major, okay. Okay.
Then after that, I fell in love with the sport. Then up to the point that we compete all over in Manila and in PMA until the time na the peak of my
fencing career
was the I went to the Philippine team training pool and I had a silver medal in the Philippine National Games, in which that's why my first award in the military, sir, was not because of military actions or military operations. That was for sport because they awarded me military merit medal when I was still a cadet because of fencing.
Because of fencing.
Yeah. Because that was in 1997. But mo nang accidental lang to, sir, pero as time goes by, there is a point gani nga halos dili na ko katulog every night. All I can just hear is the fencing weapon.
So what event were you in? Saber, ipay, or foil?
There is first foil.
Okay.
Then nag-ipay na ko after.
Okay. Not saber, because they say saber is the macho type of fencing because
very different rule. The ipay, you have to any parts of the body is allowed as long as makauna ka.
So aside from fencing, of course, there at PMA you try many other sports.
Yeah,
right?
correct.
Yeah. So probably you encountered also boxing,
Yeah, boxing, judo.
judo, gymnastics, karate
sir,
do.
there is a kuan ba? Our president now, may Mista Demi.
Yes,
He was
yeah.
the one of the cadet in
Demi
charge
Ferrer, yeah.
in judo. That was we were first class. Then he said that Bungs, there is a regional meet in judo. And wa ko kabalo na the best judo at the judo athlete at that time came from Baguio. So we went there. Then I had my what you call shoulder dislocated.
Okay.
Because
Yeah, but then I think during that time the coach at PMA was Willie Dino, or was it Rexbert Ramirez? I think one of them.
Yes.
Yeah, Rexbert was actually my contemporary in the national judo tournaments. I played my last juniors event against him. That was when I was 19 years old.
By the way, the ruling class of the Armed Forces of the Philippines now is our classmates of surname.
No, there's so anyway, one thing that you mentioned there is daghang sports.
Yeah.
Kung ganahan jud kag sports, I mean, there you can try all sorts of sports, and opportunities are open for cadets, right? So how did that help you also with your life now? I mean, your experience there at PMA, trying different sports. I mean, trying to mix your being a cadet in charge of the fencing core squad, your academics, and of course your military studies. How did that help you with your current life now?
Well, it was really a very good foundation for me, because you tend to murag imong ma-separate ang from one activities to the other ba. And you have first in the academy man god, they have a very good scientific program. Kung wala lang ng mga extracurricular activities, you will be one of the fittest athlete or the fittest guy after graduation.
I remember Colonel Aquino that you're talking about having the strongest, the fittest members of the armed forces in the PMA because of that scientific program.
Yeah, very good. Pwera na lang itong mga extracurricular.
So now, I mean, you're not just fit, but then you manage to overcome stress, because I know it's stressful to try to balance being a pilot, then doing all your training for triathlons. Although you'd say that you're past your peak, but then you're still at it. I mean, you're still at 48 years old. Captain Sale is still competing in many races, and not just competing, he's also winning.
Yes,
no? So, what's itong latest ni mga daog gani?
That was in TWM. I got number 2.
Okay. The TWM is the
a triathlon. Olympic distance triathlon.
Olympic distance triathlon. So, if we talk of Olympic distance is 1.5
kilometer swim, 10 kilometer 40 kilometer bike,
and 10 kilometer run. Yeah, so that's the short one. The Ironman, the 70.3 Ironman 70.3 is actually 70.3 is the combined distance.
Yes.
Right? But that's not kilometers, that's miles.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, so converted into kilometers, that is how long is it? The swim is
swim is 1.9. The bike is about 90 kilometer.
Yeah,
and
21K run.
Marathon.
Yeah, 21K run. That's a half marathon. So if you're running 5 or 10K, that's not a marathon. Yes, that's just a 5K or a 10K.
The full is a full
42,
marathon.
42 kilometers. So you've done also the full marathon many times.
Yes.
Yeah. So grabihan ni mo, no? Murag, how do you rest?
First, I have to manage first I have to prioritize first my family, because if they are not supportive, I can't concentrate on my. So we have a a rule in the family because I am with the airline. So to maximize the benefits that being in the airline, we should have two trips abroad and at least one trip domestically. So what I did is, if my wife said, "Oh, we'll go there," so I will see to it that there is an Ironman there, so that I can have them with my
cheer for you.
Yeah.
So mo na nakanindot diay nga kanang maday mo pamilya. Of course, it helps that you are in the airline industry, no, Richel? So nutrition, unsa man imong ang kaon ba? I mean, are you picky with your food or do you have set?
Actually, that's wala kayo koy nutrition diet, sir, but when you indulge in an endurance sport, normally carbs good. Yeah, you do that's why 2 days before their carbo loading.
Yeah, carbo loading. Yeah, okay.
But kung off season or you should
Kaon lang yun. But of course, since he is into extreme sports, he burns all of those accumulated calories quite fast. But then, of course, that can't happen to everyone. I mean, if you're not into extreme sports like Captain Sale, it might be difficult for you to burn those calories. Magsige lang mo yun. Carbo loading ko, kay mudagan ko. No, please be a bit careful when it comes to eating. So, Richel, thank you very much for joining me here on Full Point, the Cebu Sports Show. I've been actually looking forward to featuring you on the show because of all that you have done, of all that you have achieved in life and also in sports. So, thank you very much, Richel. So, ladies and gentlemen, that has been Full Point, the Cebu Sports Show. I'm Nimrod Quiñones. Until our next episode.